Good afternoon. This is Dr. Bonsai, Dr. Bonsai's Meme Emporium, and boy, do I make some bad choices sometimes. I was at my local game store, and they had this on sale for 20% off MSRP. MSRP for this is $112, which for the amount of stuff that you get out of this box for a Games Workshop product is pretty breathtaking. So I went ahead and snapped that up. I still think I'm going to continue Halo because my son likes the Halo miniatures, I think, better than the 40K ones. So that's what I'm going to do. So that being said, what's Kill Team? Kill Team is the skirmish version of Warhammer 40K. The rules are completely different. The cast of characters are the same, though. So you still have Space Marines, you still have Chaos Space Marines, you still have Orcs, you still have all the usual Warhammer 40K players. This one actually contains MDF terrain, which is wild because GW usually throws plastic sprues in there for terrain, and I'm wondering if that's not how they got the price so far down on this particular box, as they went cheap in air quotes with the MDF, and also they included a hard board to play on as well, so you actually get a playing surface and terrain. So if you wanted to buy this and then just not worry about anything else, you could theoretically do that. So it is supplemented by an app. It's got all sorts of different stuff and accoutrement to help you with. So let's take a look at the contents. We've got 64 page handbook, 2 reference sheets, card tokens, because this is one of those games with widgets, cardboard widgets, and 10 6-sided dice, game board, ready to use terrain, which is the aforementioned game board and MDF stuff. 14 Citadel miniatures, which consists of the Angels of Death and the Plague Marines. So these guys were actually both these guys and the Death Guard, the big disease-looking Greebly guys. They were part of kind of like a blind box gotcha scheme that Games Workshop debuted in Japan. So that's where these miniatures come from. They're individual models on sprue, so they don't come in like a big, frame like that. It's like an individual, like one guy per sprue, right? So, and the way they do that is basically so you could throw them in a blind box, and then you and your friend, you would go to your local Games Workshop or wherever you would buy these blind boxes and try to, like Pokemon, right? Collect them all. So what they did is they basically said, we got these miniatures, we've got these molds, at least this is my internal monologue of what they should be doing, is, hey, we have these miniatures, we have these molds, we're going to re-release these as Kill Teams. Because the other thing too about Kill Team is, if you don't want to buy this, you don't have to. They have an app that's free, and there's any number of Etsy sellers that sell the particular game tokens, third-party tokens for the game. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to open this. Oh yeah, I guess that works. So, these third-party tokens for the game, so you don't actually have to do that. And a lot of the game balance stuff and the rules and whatnot is actually carried through on the app on your phone. So it's not one of those games where you have to have your phone attached to your hand playing it, but if you have a smartphone and you have the app, then you're always going to have the updated unit cards and whatnot, which is always one of my biggest gripes when you have a game like this or anything else that has a lot of card, I call it paperwork. So all right, so you get this cool little topper, which basically is to protect the components from spilling out, and so there's 2 sides, so you get this one and then you get this one, and I guess you framed this or something, or I don't know, you put it someplace. I'm gonna put it right there for right now. So okay, well, this is weird. So they just chucked all these in the box without regards for what this is. So okay, so we go. So the green are the bad guys, the blue are the Space Marines. I almost said good guys because, but, the moral relativism of 40K is not what I'm talking about today. I'm not about that. So So we got, the two separate piles of sprues here. And we'll take a look at those in a second. And you get this, which is your game board. So you get the wrapper off. So, okay, so it's two-sided. So one side you get, okay, so it's actually not that big. So that's the other thing is like, this is not a very big board because Kill Team doesn't generally take up a whole lot of real estate. So you have, kind of the red rust thing going on, and then you have, you have this. Oh, this has already got a little skive to it, so, but there we go. So that's the game board. And then you have all your rules, your paperwork here. This one looks like it was, the box was kind of creased. This thing looks like it was been to the war. So, all right. So here are the tokens. So you got your Stardust markers, these objectives, little measuring, widgets. Here you just use a tape measure. And then each one of these indicates different conditions and whatnot. And these are actually nice and thick and sturdy. These are more like a Fantasy Flight, board game quality, as opposed to the really flimsy stuff that we've seen in the past. So that's good. And then you have a reference sheet for your Angels of Death. And basically this is so you can just flop this out on your board and you can place your damage tokens here, and you can do all your stuff, and then your orders on the back. And again, probably a good chunk of these are going to be outdated because the information is superseded by what's on the app. So so there you go. And you have the actual starter handbook. So it actually, okay, that's interesting. So this is a really beginner friendly thing. So it basically says, okay, start with guy A, and it goes through like, hey, this is how this works. And then you have the Kill Team sprues for the Death Guard, and it shows you how all those guys kind of plug and play and work in with one another. So there's that, and this is the fiction part. And it's like how the basics work, how the rules work. Each one of these tokens mean, and then you've got your starter scenarios with like 3 guys each, and then you have the different special rules that benefits and hurts each guy, and so you're kind of flipping through that. So that's how you. So basically, it's giving you practical play examples on how to play the game, which for a caveman like me, I really enjoy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So how action point limits, the APL is what that is, and how that works, and kind of breaks down how each one of these, works together, and alternative setups. Well, this is really like basic, like how to get you started. And then this is, you get the QR code for the other stuff. And you have, I believe, this one is, yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is the MDF terrain. Now that's interesting. So this one didn't come with any card paperwork. I could have swore that, but then again, okay, I think I understand why they didn't have any paperwork and other than that, because they want to be able to sell you the extra cards. So these are, nice and heavy, and they fall right. Clearly, they fall right out with no issues. So if you're, and they're all labeled, so that's nice. And then you have kind of small sections, small walls, and the MDF is actually really, like, it doesn't feel like cardboard at all. It's medium density fiberboard, so it's basically like wood. So you have, these things that actually pop out really nicely. I'm not just good firm push on each side, and it pops right out. And of course, you can store this all back in the box for storage purposes, which is pretty cool. So again, you kind of both fingers by equal pressure. Oh, it's very satisfying. You guys can't feel this, but this is actually ultra satisfying with how dense this is. All right, cool. So those are all empty, and then they just kind of work in with each other, and of course you can kind of blend and mix and match. Oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. So this one's would be kind of wobbly, so I don't think that one actually goes with that one. But yeah, they slide right apart, no problem. I'm not seeing any big issues here, so I think these are going to work well. Kind of got a little bit of a grit to them, so that's hilarious. So, but okay, so that's what's in the box, and then we're gonna reorganize this and put these right here. Put the terrain back in the box. And we'll cap that off with the board. And then we'll look at each one of these individual sprues. I'm going to bring the camera down here. All right, so we have, this is a Plague Marine heavy gunner, so he has got Plague Spewer. So basically think of like a giant like industrial sprayer that you would spray your weeds with, except pressurized and spraying, you know, any number of horrific diseases and, you know, acid eating stuff. So you can kind of see how like it's got a helmet and then a bear head, and each one of these things has just a ton of detail. It's got a beautiful textured base. It's got Nurglings, which are basically the little Plague God helpers that kind of run around with the Plague Marines or any of the Nurgle line stuff. And you have the Icon Bear, which again, bear head option. You have this gross tentacle that's, you know, popping out of his armor. His rusted knife. He's got like this slug thing attached to him. He's got kind of got the lamprey face going on, and he's kind of got, if you can see that here, and you can kind of see he's got like a hose coming out of his mouth, or like some sort of maggot or something. So these are just repulsive how well detailed these are with all the awful Nurgle bits. This is the champion of Nurgle. Honestly, not too keen on the head. The head sculpt on this one is kind of weak sauce. I like the helmeted head. I think most of my Plague Marines are going to use helmets on them. And then you have this guy who is your bolter bro. This is the Grenadier. So like he's got the gnarly stick grenade, and then he's got the two heads. He's got this one, and then he's got the full like gas mask, you know, trench fighter head. So again, this looks, and then these are all snap fit. Obviously, I'm gonna glue them together. I think you probably should glue them together, but they're all push fit. And then this is the standard Space Marine, you know, Chaos Marine gunner dude. So he's got, you know, this head that's basically, it's just the skin's rotting off his helmet. I do love the Crusade helmet though, with the Mark of Nurgle on it. I'm probably going to use this one. And then this is the Malignant Plague Caster, basically a sorcerer of Nurgle. And since these were designed to be like gotcha things, you already see how like the bodies are already kind of trying to pop off the sprue. So he has two heads. He has one where his face is completely kind of covered and you can only see his lower jaw. And then you have like his bare head, you know, the staff with the smoke coming off of it, and the giant, you know, plague fly that you can either probably attach to his base or somewhere on his backpack. And then last but not least, you have the guy with the plague flail. Basically, this is a giant two-handed, you know, morning star, or, you know, flail with multiple heads on it. Ooh, I love that helmet. That's a good looking. And then this one where it's like his jaw is like cracked and distending off, like he's kind of turning into some sort of like weird snake, so he can like dislodge his jaw. Um, the the flail parts are really nicely detailed. Again, just great detail. A lot of little fun things, and then Space Marines, which are kind of boring, but we'll go over them. So you have a captain. He has a power fist. He has two heads. The helmet with the laurel leaves and the screaming head. Textured base helmet. No options on this guy really, except for the different helmet options, much in the same way as the Nurgle guys. Then you have the two different heads for this guy. He's some kind of a sniper. I don't know what the official terminology for him is. So you got that going on, and then you have an assault intercessor. Basically, this is a guy with a chainsword and a pistol to do the work. Very dynamic pose. Looks like when he goes together. And it looks like he's gonna fit together nicely. So there's that, and then this is kind of a just generic Space Marine with like the support version of the bolt gun or the bolt rifle, excuse me, because these guys are Primaris Marines, which if you're a 40k fan means something. If you're not, it means nothing. So again, two different heads, good pouch detail, good base detail, spent shell casing showing that he's been laying down some suppressing fire. Then you have this guy who is actually probably one of my favorite poses, where he's actually lobbing a grenade, so you can kind of see how he's got this bionic arm and the grenade is kind of trailing smoke as he's lobbing it at somebody. Ooh, so this guy, we're missing a helmet someplace. So it's probably sloshing around in the bottom of the box. So we'll find that later. And then you have this is the heavy intercessor guy. This basically like super, not quite Terminator armor, but not quite regular power armor. He's kind of somewhere in between. He's kind of lugs around the heavy weapons, so that's cool. And then last but not least, you have another just kind of like standard intercessor guy. This guy is swapping mags with this hand and putting into the bolt gun here, bolt rifle here, and both heads on the sprue. So there you go. So all things considered, is this a good deal? If you are, I liken this, I know a lot of people are probably going to hate me for saying this. I liken this a lot to a game of Armored Combat, where this is a self-contained thing, where if you buy it and you're like, nah, this game ain't for me, and you just shelve it, you're out, I'm out like, $80. So it's like, yeah, that sucks, I'm out $80, but at the same time, I can come back to this and try to play it at a later date, or like I can try to get other people into it, or if I just want this to be the sum total of my experience, that I just bring it out to play with friends every once in a while. You can do that, and I think there's a legitimate case for playing a game in that manner. So, I think this is probably one of the best value propositions that GW has ever come out with, especially since they put out the unit cards, right? So they put out all the unit cards and objective cards and, this, that, and the other cards. There's an app. It's free. You don't have to buy anything on it, and you can just have these rules. So I think if you're into the tactile experience of actually having the physical cards, yeah, that's one thing, but you don't have to have them. It really doesn't matter. I'm sure I'll be corrected by veteran kill team players in the later on. But for me, I'm not seeing any reason to get like the extra cards, because they're going to be available on the app, and the fact that all these guys, you can effectively get away with buying like If you wanted to go cheaper than this, you can get a box of Space Marines, or you can get a box of Plague Marines, or you can get a box of Orcs, or whatever. You can get like a squad of these guys for like $60, $70, probably less if you have a local retailer like Michigan Toy Soldier, where I got this um, at a pretty decent discount. So you're spending less than the cost of this to get in the game, but you could just get this at the same cost as those other items, plus the measuring widgets and the tokens and whatnot, and you can just kind of grab and go. So I think this is pretty. I'm gonna go on a limb and say this is. I think this is fairly decent value for money for what Games Workshop, compared to what Games Workshop normally does, which is, I never thought I'd hear myself say. But hey, real game recognized game. So I'm looking forward to putting these guys together, and I'm looking forward to maybe playing with my kids. Apparently, there's a good scene around where I live, Kill Team. Maybe it'll be toxic, horrific, and I'll throw this in a wood pile and burn it all and never talk about this again. This might be a huge mistake. I don't know. We'll see. But that's life. That's about having fun. So if you like this, quick review, kind of quick and dirty review, give me a like, give me a subscribe, share the video. I'm going to have my Ko-Fi down in the link. Anything you guys donate to me on Ko-Fi really helps. It took me a long time to kind of save up enough to make sure that I can get this and review this for you guys, because I think you guys would find this valuable. And that's it. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a good one.